Assalamu alaikum. I have reached number 3. Things to remember. Right. We said last time that not always adverbs end with ly, and we gave examples like the adverb fast, hard, late. Okay, now it's the opposite. It's the other way around. Now there are some words which end with ly, but they are not adverbs, they are adjectives. And we have the following examples: kindly, lonely, elderly, friendly. Well, these words which are here used as adjectives because, as you know, and I hope that you have noticed, that they modify, all of them, they modify nouns. Kindly, teacher is a noun. Lonely, girl, modifying girl. Elderly, modifying person. Friendly, modifying policeman. All these are nouns. So we said that an adjective is a modifier of a noun, or sometimes a pronoun. So be careful when you see these words like that, these adjectives, don't call them, they are adverbs. Because we said that an adverb does not modify a noun or a pronoun. It modifies what? It modifies a verb, it modifies another adjective, it modifies another adverb, and it modifies an adjective. So here it's not the case. So these words, though they end with ly, they are not adverbs, but they are adjectives. So be careful about this note, it's very important. To decide whether a word is an adverb or not, you have to ask yourself, first question, what does it modify? If you see that it modifies the word modifies a noun or a pronoun, it cannot be adverb. It is adjective. But if it modifies a verb or adjective or another adverb, then you can call that adverb. And then you can ask some question that may help you to find out if these words are adverbs, like questions like how, or where, and when. For example, he speaks Spanish fluently. We can ask here the question how, the manner. How does he speak Spanish? All right? If I want to use fluently as adjective, I can say he is fluent. So fluent there is adjective because it modifies he. But here fluently, what does it modify? It modifies speaks. So that's the one technique that helps you to find out if it is an adverb. The second technique that helps you if it is an adverb, you can ask in this question, when it is about the manner, you can ask how. If it's not about the manner, it is about the place. For example, they play soccer here or they play soccer there. Where do they play soccer? So you want to know the place where they play. Here, the word here is an adverb, and it's an adverb of place. And it cannot be adjective because it's not modifying a noun or a pronoun, but it is modifying play. Where do they play? We know it describes the place where they play. When did she write the email to her husband? Here, we are going to ask about, this is the question that we have to ask to find out if your sentence is answering the question about time. For example, if I tell you, she wrote the letter now, or she wrote the letter immediately, or she wrote the email yesterday, etc. Here we are talking about when. When did she write the letter, the email, etc. So most of the time, these are the questions that we can ask to know if we are dealing with adverbs or not. But of course, the main question that you have to ask yourself, what does this word modify? If it modifies a verb or an adjective or another adverb, it is an adverb. If it does not modify these things, it is something else. Okay, now I move on to the position of adverbs. That here we mean the place where we put the adverbs. Well, here when we are dealing with adverbs of manner, like for example, he works hard, he does the work nicely, he does it beautifully, he works slowly, carefully, awfully, and of course not all the adverbs end with ly. We may have an adverb of manner that doesn't end with ly. For example, he runs fast. Fast here, it's an adverb of manner and it doesn't end with ly. So please, I want you to add that in this examples of adverbs of manner are nicely, beautifully, slowly, carefully, awfully. You can add fast, you can add hard, etc. You can add late, he comes late, etc. All right. So these adverbs, when you have these adverbs of manner, where do you place them? Where do you put them? Do you put them in the beginning of the sentence or in the middle or at the end? Well, the adverb of manner, most of the time they come after the direct object. Like in this example, he did the work well, he did the work efficiently, right? He drove the lorry carelessly. All right. He drove the lorry quickly. He spoke fluently. He spoke slowly. Notice that all these adverbs come at the end. All right. Most of the time they come after the direct object, but in some examples you don't have a direct object. He spoke fluently. He spoke. It is an intransitive verb. It doesn't need a direct object. So it comes just, so you have the adverb just after the verb. So it's not a rule that you must always have the direct object. You have the direct object only if the verb is, if it is transitive. But if it is intransitive, it doesn't need. And here I refer you back to the lesson on the English verbs and the types of verbs you have. Well, this is about the position of adverbs of manner. The position of adverbs of place, adverbs of place here, it's almost like before, here, there, etc. I met him there, I met him here. The adverb of place here comes after the direct object. I met him here. I don't say I met here him. Okay, it comes at the end, right, after the direct object. If you have a direct object, but if you don't, it comes just at the end of the verb. Like here, he sat there. The adverb of place comes after the verb sat, all right? Because here sat is intransitive. It doesn't need a direct object. And here again, I refer you back. You have to revise your lesson on the English verbs. Where now the position of adverbs of time. Here, the adverbs of time, well, the adverbs of time, you know them: recently, now, then, tomorrow, yesterday, etc. Well, they are usually, not always, they are usually put at the end of the sentence, but there are sometimes sentences where you have them in the beginning, and it's a perfect English sentence. Like in this sentence, I will show you the house tomorrow. Tomorrow is an adverb of time, and it is placed right at the end of the sentence. And I can also start with the adverb of time, but notice here when I have started with tomorrow, I have used a comma after tomorrow. Tomorrow, comma, I will show you the house. So be careful about punctuation. If I leave it at the end, no punctuation. If I start with it, you must have a comma, nothing else. On top of adverbs of time, there are also adverbs of frequency. And I think you have already studied these adverbs of frequency in S1 when you dealt with the English tenses. Adverbs of frequency are, for example, always, never, seldom, usually, often, etc. Well, these adverbs of frequency, they can come before the main verb, except the main verb to be. So I say, I sometimes visit my uncle. I sometimes visit my uncle. Sometimes here comes before visit. We have often seen him pass by the house. Often comes before the main verb seen. They are seldom at work. You have the verb to be, so the adverbs of frequency comes after the verb to be. So that's the exception. They always come before the main verb, but when you have the verb to be, they come after the verb to be. But sometimes, often, frequently, and usually can also go at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. Or I can say sometimes, comma. When you start with an adverb of time, you have to use, whether adverbs of time or adverb of frequency, use the comma, like before, tomorrow. Sometimes, comma, they visit him. All right? I can say they visit him. Also, I can say they sometimes visit him. So both are correct. I miss him occasionally. Occasionally here is used at the end. With rarely and seldom, which are adverbs of frequency, they can go at the end of the sentence. We say, we see them rarely. Okay? We see them rarely. John eats meat very seldom. So with rarely and seldom, they come at the end of the sentence. And after this, what you have at the end of this lesson, it's just an addition for you. And it's not exactly about rules of adverbs, but rather it's about vocabulary. As long as you read, you will discover new adverbs, new expressions, sometimes idiomatic expressions, etc. You cannot understand why they have used this as adverb and not as adjective, because it's an idiomatic expression. And here we have tried to give you some of these examples. For example, here, short and shortly. Short is used as an adverb in expressions like stop short, which means stop suddenly, and cut short, interrupt. So here, short, when it is used here with stop, when it is used here with cut, it is not an adjective, but it is an adverb. It's idiomatic. It has an idiomatic expression. What does it mean? Stop short. It means stop suddenly. What does it mean? Cut short. It means interrupt. So short here is not like he is short or she is short, which is adjective. Here, short is an adverb. And as you notice, it comes after cut, which is a verb. Short, it comes after stop. So it does not modify a noun or a pronoun. It modifies a verb. So it is an adverb. Shortly means soon. You will hear from us shortly. Shortly here is the equivalent of soon. You will hear from us shortly. All right? Slow and slowly. Slow is an adjective. Slowly is an adverb. However, slow sometimes can be used as an adverb after verbs like go and drive. So we all know that slow is an adjective. We all know that. And we know that slowly is an adverb. But sometimes slow is used as an adverb. Again, it's like before when it is used in its idiomatic expression, like go slow. Here, slow is not adjective. Here, slow is an adverb. How do you know that it is not an adjective? Because it does not modify a noun. It modifies go. So it is an adjective. Sound and soundly. All right? Sound and soundly. Sound is used as an adverb in a few expressions. Example, he is sound asleep. He is sound asleep. So, okay, what is asleep? Asleep is an adjective. And sound, what is it? It modifies asleep. So it is an adverb. So sound here is an adverb. It's an adverb, not an adjective. In expressions like that, sound asleep. I say the baby is sound asleep. In some other cases, we usually use soundly. The baby is sleeping soundly. Soundly here, very easy. It is adverb. It's very easy because it modifies the main verb. He is sleeping. Before sound asleep, it modifies sleep. Both of them are adverbs. Now we go to straight. Straight, he is a straight person, means he is direct. He does not lie, etc. So it is adjective, but sometimes it can be used as an adverb. Straight is used both as an adjective and sometimes it is used as an adverb. A straight road means it is direct road. He goes straight. Goes straight. Straight here is not an adjective, but it is an adverb. How do I know that? It modifies goes. What is that type that modify a verb? We know it is an adverb. Now with the words tight and tightly. Again, tight is most of the time, most people know that tight is tight. Okay. It is tight is an adjective and tightly is an adverb. Okay. Very clear, very simple. But after certain verbs, in some idiomatic expression, tight can also be used as an adverb. And these idiomatic expressions are like, for example, hold tight, packed tight. Here tight and tight in hold and tight in packed. Tight here is not adjective but adverb. And these are idiomatic expressions in English like that. You have to remember them like that. No rule about that. All right? And they come after the verb. They modify the verb hold and packed, etc. Then before a verb, we always use tightly. Okay? Tightly held if it is before the verb. Tightly packed. We don't say tight held, tight packed. Okay? Tightly held, tightly packed if it comes before the verb. But if it comes after the verb, we use tight. Hold tight, packed tight. With the last examples of these irregular uses of verbs, we have adverbs, wrong and wrongly. The normal adverb that most people know is wrongly. Okay, this is an adverb. In an informal style, in everyday, in colloquial English, sometimes some people who who are in the streets and they are just using colloquial English, not very academic English, they sometimes can use wrong instead of wrongly. All right? But, it's not a very good use of the adverb, excuse me. So usually I say, I wrongly believed that I was going in the right direction. All right? Wrongly, he is adverb. You guessed wrong. I can say you guessed wrong. This is in everyday language, in colloquial English. I say wrong. You guessed wrong. Wrong here is not an adjective, but it is an adverb. How do I know that it is an adverb? I have to ask always those questions. What does word modify? It modifies the verb guess, so it is an adverb. So here, most of the time, your best clue to know if it is an adverb, ask yourself, what does this word modify? If it modifies a verb, or if it modifies an adjective, or if it modifies another adverb, it is an adverb. If it modifies a noun or a pronoun, it is an adjective. And here you have to ask yourself another question. What is the function of an adverb in a sentence? Well, it is a modifier, right? So if I ask you, for example, what is the type of the word he speaks fluently? What is its type? Its type is adverb. What is its function? It is a modifier of the verb speaks. So the function of adverbs in English grammar is called modifier. They modify verbs, they modify adjectives, or they modify another adverb. This is the end of the lesson of the adverbs. You have, of course, your exercises, your practice. You have to practice. You have to revise again and again what I have explained. And then you have to do your exercises, and you have the answers at the end for every question. Okay? Be careful to understand every item that I have explained, and go to your answers to check if your question was correct or not. Okay, this is it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.